Hey, so I'll make a video on the #1 Omni ring in Toda that I crafted. Pretty much want to go over the whole story about this ring. I'll also go over the crafting guide, but the crafting guide will be at the end, because I think the story is a little bit more interesting. So yeah, the story behind this ring, so if you're wondering how it's at, 13% int and 14% strength, is we corrupted it and we hit 6% strength, 5% int. You do this by having a gilded fossil. So give you a fourth implicit, and then the corruption can hit the fourth implicit, keeping your original 3 implicits. So yeah, the story behind this ring. This is both a very cursed and blessed ring. Why is this ring really cursed? So I started this ring, I brought up off trade for 380 divines. I then used about 250 beast, which for me was unlucky, because originally I was just going for crit multi, tier 3 or better, and I didn't see one crit multi in 200 beast. So using 250 Vita Vultures and only seeing crit multi once, and it was only like tier 5, it's pretty unlucky. But the luck kind of turned around, because instead of a tier 3 crit multi, it gave me 6% strength. Kind of equal. Tier 1 multi would be better, but that's really rare. So yeah, I did finish the implicits with 250 Vita Vultures, which is about over 1,000 divines, and the base was like 380 divines. So implicits by themselves was over 2 mirrors, because it also doesn't count the Camaros that you used as well. So yeah, I saw off this ring unlucky on implicits, as I should have hit multi way earlier than 250 beast. So then we go to the suffix. So the suffix, once again, pretty unlucky. I used roughly 2,500 divines, my bad, 2,500 essence, which is not like that many divines. That's like I want to say over 200 divines of essence, which is pretty unlucky though for these suffix. You should finish these suffix in about 1,200 to 1,500 essence. So yeah, I pretty much went twice over average for the suffix. So unlucky there as well. Now we move on to the prefix. So the prefix, as you can imagine, I was once again unlucky. And during the prefix of the original ring, we might have had an incident where I scoured the suffix off. This was like 7 days ago. Yeah, I scoured the suffix off. So not only was I unlucky with the implicits and the suffix, I then also scoured the suffix off. And yeah, this was like 5 hours into non-stop exalt slamming, suffix cannot be changed, scour, just repeat over and over and over, 5 hours straight. So like I just really wasn't paying attention at this point. So after that, out of spite of the game, I just gambled away all my currency. I gambled House of Mirrors and lost like 7 or 8 mirrors. Pretty much stopped crafting for like 2 days. Came back to the ring, I was like, all right, I'll just finish it, just to finish it. Came back for the ring. I then used only 200 essence to finish the suffix. Luck with the suffix, I just hit double tier 1 natural, which is 1 in like 3,000 essence, so I got pretty lucky there. And then move on to the prefix again, but I was not lucky with the prefix at all. So yeah, the prefix, if you don't know, for this ring is by far the hardest thing to craft. It costs the most amount of divines. All you do is block mana, double exalt slam, suffix cannot be changed, scour, and repeat until you get tier 1 elemental damage with attack skills. Problem is, elemental damage with attack skills is a 300 weighted. So it's roughly a 1 in 144 to slam this with an exalt. Then after you get tier 1 elemental damage with attack skills, you have to add them for 50-50. And not only did I get unlucky with not seeing as many tier 1 elemental damage with attack skills as I should have, I also got extremely unlucky with Ashling, as in I failed 7 Ashlings in a row, 7 50-50s in a row. I did not hit an Ashling until my 8th one, which made this extremely expensive. Roughly, I probably used 2,500 divines on this prefix, which is extremely unlucky. If you're curious, you should finish the prefix under, I want to say, 800, 900 divines, somewhere around there on average. So yeah, I went about 3 times over average to finish the prefix, because my Ashland kept removing the tier 1. So after all that, curse implicits, curse suffix, curse prefix, I did hit the Ashland max life in the first try, which was pretty much average. It's not lucky, you pretty much always hit it. After all that, You know, I finished the ring, had like no currency left. I had like less than 3 mirrors left of currency. You know, I decided while stream, I was like, okay, we'll go use like 500 cores, 700 cores, and see if we hit anything in implicits. Most likely you don't hit anything because it's a 1 in 4. It's something with implicits. So, you know, with like only 6 or 7 locks, you're only going to see like 2 implicits. But, you know, luck turns around in the end. So in the end, this was my 5th lock. We did in fact hit percent strength and percent int. Meaning all that RNG that was completely terrible turned around. And yeah, I saved a lot of currency by not having to use like any locks. On average, when I calculated it, it was about 1 in 48 locks to hit something that's usable, that doesn't also brick your ring. Because like I said, even if you hit something good, it cannot replace the things that you already have on it, or else it just bricks it, right? Like with this percent int and percent strength removes the +1 frenzy, then like I can't use that. It's a bad outcome. It has to specifically remove the gilded fossil implicit, which is items or more value when you sell them to vendors or whatever. So it's a 1 in 4 to see implicit, then it's a 1 in 4 to remove the correct implicit, and then it's like a 1 out of 8 to get a good implicit. So it's really RNG. Yeah, so cursed ring all around up until the very end where I got extremely lucky. And yeah, that's the story behind this #1 Omni ring. And you can make a better one. If someone wanted to, they could make a better one. The most ideal ring would be +1 frenzy, percent attribute, 20% multi, and then hatred effect. But to get hatred effect specifically, and on the 4th implicit, it's like over 100 locks. So yeah, I wasn't going for that, but if someone wants to go for it, they can. Now I'll just go over how to craft this ring real quick. Like I said, it's really, really easy to craft. So all you do, use Essence of Scorn. It's a 1 in 21 to hit tier 1 attributes. You're looking for any tier 1 attributes. Doesn't matter. It can be any of them. So we'll just do this until we hit it, because it's, you know, it's pretty common. Now let's go to other crafting process. This one we should hit pretty fast though. Tier 2 strength, tier 7 dex. Should hit here in a second, hopefully. Oops, what's that one? Oh, that was tier 1. So yeah, tier 1 dex. When you get to this point, you have to annul until you have no open an open suffix and at least 1 open prefix. So we annul. All right. We remove the prefix. So at this point, use annul again. All right, we remove the cold. If you remove the crit multi or the dex, then you had to spam essence again. But yeah, now at this point you just block mana or any prefix. Doesn't really matter at this point. You just block mana and then you just exalt slam, and it's a 1 in 42 to hit another tier 1 attribute. So since we have dex, we're looking either for strength or intelligence here. And if you don't hit it, right, you get something like this, like life regen. All you do, you move the corrected mod, and then you annul again, and you hope to hit it. And that's it. That's all you got to do for the suffix. Very, very simple. At any point, if you brick it, let's say, you just got to start over with essence. So here, I start over with essence until we get tier 1 attribute again, and then try to exalt on tier 1 attribute. Costs less than 200 divines. It entirely depends on essence prices. Could cost you like 100 divines. Could cost you 300 if you're really unlucky. But yeah. If you're also crafting these for yourself, like you're not doing a triple synth implicit, you can set up for tier 2. And getting a tier 1, tier 2 is less than like 50 divines. Tier 1 attribute, tier 2 attribute, that is. So the prefix, we'll move on to the prefix. So I will just finish this ring real quick. Set like strength on here, doesn't really matter. Now for the prefix, you're gonna have to clean it with suffix cannot be changed. And then of course scour. Now all you gotta do for the prefix is block mana every single time. Always want to block mana, just because that's the highest weighted. Do crafted mod, and then you just double exalt slam. Now you're looking for only tier 1 life or tier 1 elemental damage with attack skills. So if you don't hit it, once again, use do suffix cannot be changed and scour. You repeat that process over and over and over and over until you get tier 1 life or tier 1 wed. So if you get tier 1 damage with attack skills, let's say, when you exalt slam, at this point, all you do is suffix cannot be changed and ashling, and that's it. The 50-50 at this point. If you don't hit it, go again, right? Let's get the prefix back. It will take hundreds of divines. I think it's somewhere around like it should be like 150 divines. Exact mana divines as exalt, so 144 divines to see it once. If you're wondering, if you still have a tier 2, then it's only half of that, so only 77 divines. But yeah, you just keep doing it until you eventually hit. And then at this point, you block mana. It's the best thing to block for Unveil. And then you have a, I think 75% chance to Unveil Life, so it's a really, really high chance. Unluck, you know, we didn't get lucky here, so we got unlucky. We only unveiled damage. If this happens to you, do Subjects Can't Be Changed and do a null 50-50 and hope you remove this cold damage, and then you'll have to action again and hope you unveil life this time. This time we did unveil life. And now ring is done. You can craft whatever you want. But to go over real quick, the other prefix you can get is tier 1 life. So why is tier 1 life good? Because if you have tier 1 life, let's just say you exalt summon on. At this point, it's worth to use Harvest to try to finish it. Let me move this. So you would do Subjects Cannot Be Changed. And then you would do Harvest, Aug, Attack. So do it right here. Now this gives you a 60, I think it's a 1 in 66, I believe, to get tier 1 Elderly Unarmed attack skills. So it's worth the cost of doing this. Now, of course, it's a 50-50 whether it moves to life or the Subjects Cannot Be Changed. But even if you move to life and get tier 1 Elderly Unarmed attack skills, then you can just go straight to Ashling for another 50-50. So that's why it's always worth doing. So even if you hit the life but get tier 1, it's still a good outcome. Ideally, hit the Subjects Cannot Be Changed, get tier 1, and then the ring's actually done. You don't need to Ashling anymore because you have tier 1 life. But yeah, that is the whole process. So let's say we hit like elemental damage attack skills right here, right? Ideally, this would be the better outcome, but you know, might not the Ashland. Most rings that you see would be on mirror service drops have the Ashland because this is just way more rare, as you don't specifically go for tier 1 life, as it'd be way too expensive, like probably 10 plus mirrors or whatever. And then we just craft, you know, whatever you want. So non-channel mana skills, whatever, right? Boost the cost, that's what I have. Ring's done. So that's the ring crafting process. That's the whole story of the ring. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. Also, see you on Twitch pretty much daily. But yeah, that's about it.